Hello! Welcome to another episode of Gems, the podcast where you get all the tools you need for your epic glow up. Relax, whip up a delicious treat, and let's talk. I know. She hasn't been here in ages. She hasn't posted an episode in like how many weeks to the two of you who are listening to this podcast at the moment. Yeah, I have been dealing with a variety of situations. But as I have said in the previous episode, I will continue to be consistent. The consistency must be consistent, even though it is not a streak. So, without further ado, let's get to the episode. What is the secret weapon to success? Well, your TLDR, it's people. People are the secret weapon to success. And if you're wondering how, in all of the things we have in this world, could people be the secret weapon to success? Then stay tuned. We are going to talk about it. And yes, let's not deny reality. There is a potential for people to push you to failure. However, there are more positives to surrounding yourself with fellow human beings. How, you may ask? Well, according to the CDC, social connections can lead to better health and well-being and longer life. It can also improve our stress, anxiety, and depression, our healthy eating and physical activity, and also our quality of sleep. And according to a study done on over 308,000 people, those with poor quality friendships or no friends are twice as likely to die prematurely. And that is also a risk factor greater than smoking 26 of cigarettes daily. Whew. So imagine you smoking 20 cigarettes daily is better than you having no friends. That is wild. And before I forget, for those of you who'd like to see the receipts, for those who want to see the resource materials that I used for this episode, it's down on the show notes. So anyway, apart from all of this data that I'm showing you, we are going to talk about specifically the ways that people can contribute to your success. I have 3 for you in this episode, so let's get to them. The first and most obvious and well-known way is that people provide emotional support. Now stick with me. Like many of you out there, not too long ago, I thought that the less people are involved in my situations and in my life, the less complicated it will be. However, I realized very quickly during the pandemic, during that era, that not having people around me impacted my mental health in a negative way. And that is due to isolation. If you are interested in the topic of isolation and loneliness, I talked more in detail about this in my episode, The Art of Being Alone. I think that's either episode 6 or episode 7. Go check it out. So everyone knows, well, hopefully everyone knows, that friends, lovers, those people close to you can help you emotionally in general. But did you know that strangers, people you don't know, can do the same thing for you? I'm kind of going to paraphrase this, but there was a study that showed that people with more weak tie connections and that people with more weak tie interactions than their average daily connections are found to be happier than those with fewer weak ties or fewer weak tie interactions daily. So just to clarify, people who have more acquaintances and who interact more with strangers on a daily basis are found to be happier in life. So, my point here is whether it is your partner, your mother, that random FedEx guy, or that neighborhood grandma that's just around the corner, whatever, whether it's someone close or a stranger, they all have an equivalent amount of power in making you happier in life. So go talk to them. Number 2, people are an asset for decision making. I learned this very early and very quickly in life. When I make a decision, I always consult a trusted person. I never make a decision just from my own thoughts and opinions. It is important to surround yourself with a diverse group of people. And yes, it is true. Ultimately, you will be the one responsible for making your own decisions. But like it or not, people will always have an influence in your decision. So it's better to be aware of this fact because it is very dangerous if you were unaware of the fact that people, whether you asked for their opinion or not, have an influence, a very powerful influence on you. This society was not built by one individual. It was built by generations of people with certain beliefs and certain thoughts. And we carried those thoughts and beliefs to today. And if you are aware of this fact and you consciously surround yourself with a diverse group of people who can balance out each other's opinion, you may have just unlocked the closest thing to a bird's eye view of any situation. And that bird's eye view will help you immensely in your decision making. Okay, third point, and it may seem obvious, but I feel like all of us need some reminding about this one. People can help with your efficiency. So going back to my mindset pre-COVID era, right? The less people are involved, the less complicated it is. But that's not the case. So I want to read you a quote from this book called Yes, 50 Scientifically Proven Ways to Be Persuasive. Groups are better when cooperating with each other compared to someone working alone. Even better than the group's best problem solver working alone. To give you some quick context on this quote, the book was talking about Watson and Crick and how people, the press was asking them about how they found out about DNA. And they were talking about how they were not the smartest person who was working on this, but the most powerful thing that helped them succeed was that they were working together. There was actually another researcher in the UK who was working on this, and she was a very bright, very talented person. But at the end of the day, it wasn't her that figured it out. It was Watson and Crick. So to clarify, working in a group is more powerful and more efficient, better than the best person of that group working by themselves. And the book elaborates why that is so. It actually gives 2 reasons. The first one is the same as our second point, but the second reason is this that I'm about to read to you. The solution seeker who goes at it alone loses another significant advantage: the power of parallel processing. Whereas a cooperating unit can distribute many subtasks or problems to its members, a lone operator must perform each task sequentially. Put simply, this quote is saying that 2 heads are better than 1 because when you are working as a group, you can do this whole divide and conquer strategy. Whereas if you were to work alone, you would have to go at a project one by one, step by step, and in a specific order to accomplish that one project or task. If there is one thing that I have learned living in a collectivist society, that is how to get things done quickly and well, if I may add, as a group. The key to great teamwork is that everybody is pulling their weight. Now, I know some of you may be thinking, well, that's why it's hard, because not everybody who you work with is not pulling the weight that they need to, is not doing the work that they're supposed to do. To which I respond, it is all the more important. That point proves that it is more important to choose people to work with that have good character. There is this concept called the spillover effect, and it is coined by Dylan Miner, who is an assistant professor of managerial economics and decision science at the Kellogg School. And the spillover effect is, to put it simply, the impact that one person has on another individual's performance. So what he did was he did this study on how people within a 25-foot radius can affect other people's performance, can do a spillover effect on them. And he conducted this study within 2 years on over 2,000 employees within this large tech company. Now, his results, okay? Being near or sitting next to a high performer can affect an individual's performance by 15 to 20%. Conversely, being close to a toxic person, sitting close to a toxic person, can make you twice as likely to be fired from your job. Toxicity spreads. So the main lesson that we really have to take away from here is that the people you surround yourself with can absolutely make or break you. So we have talked about the 3 ways people can impact your success. And I want to continue this, and I want to talk about people and how to communicate with people and how they affect you and your life throughout the next couple or so episodes. But until then, I want to give you your questions for the week, or until the next episode that I put out. Do you think that you are surrounding yourself with the people who will lead you to success? When was the last time you've had a substantial and fulfilling interaction with a stranger or an acquaintance? I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Gems. If you like this episode or this podcast in general, then don't forget to rate, comment, like, subscribe, whatever it is you need to do to support this podcast. And until the next episode, just keep being a better you. I will see you next time. Bye.